I like to talk really fast, and I bounce all over the place, and I interrupt like a mother. Hey guys, what's up? I'm going to be sharing a video today about my experience with ADHD. I shared a video about this last year, and I felt very differently than how I feel now. Because who I was last year at this point was a very different woman. I was a college student, I was employed in an office job, I thought I was about to become a drug and alcohol counselor, and life was good. And then things happened. Fast forward to now, I'm a college graduate, so that's the good news, but I have lost my job. I'm no longer employed there. I was let go because of my depression, and I was depressed because my best friend died. And I didn't get that job. I got the job, actually. They gave it to me the day before I was supposed to start. They rescinded the offer. It was a tough year. Losing Brent was the catalyst for so much change in my life. It rocked me. And my complex grief from losing him and then all of the people before mixed with my ADHD, and it did not play well with my depression. And I spent the second half of last year just trying to survive. And I did. I survived. And I found myself in the process, which was really cool. But I also realized that I'm holding a lot of shame from this ADHD. A year ago, I said I wasn't ashamed. I wasn't ashamed to have ADHD at all. I meant that. But I'm ashamed now. I still had this illusion of having it all together last year. And I don't have it all together. That's a mask. That's a mask that I'm not wearing anymore. It's a mask I put down on purpose. I had a video that was really popular. It's got like 75,000 views or something close to that. And like the number one comment that gets to me every time is about me interrupting. And it sounds kind of silly that that's what bothers me, but that they're talking about my ADHD. When the video got popular, everybody was like, you're talking over him, you're telling him what to say, you're directing the conversation. Like, taking away his autonomy, like, he's a grown-ass man, he speaks up if I say something wrong. But I just felt so much shame. I wish that I didn't, but I guess it's good that that's the comment that bothers me. Out of all the BS, like, I just get upset when they tell me that I talk too much on my own channel. But I wanted to talk about that shame. I want to explain why it happened. So I was diagnosed at 16, but my little sister was diagnosed at 4. I was going into my senior year of high school. She was going into kindergarten. She had hyperactivity, like the true ADHD stereotype, and she just presented just like that. So it was an obvious diagnosis. But mine was the inattentive type, and it was not obvious. And getting my diagnosis before my senior year was too late, in my opinion. I had already internalized all of this shame, so much shame, from feeling incompetent and like a failure, and like I was just lazy. If I just applied myself, just apply yourself. I wish that I had seen all of the signs. I wish I knew all of the signs for ADHD back then. I wish that I had been able to tell myself that, like, this is not you. This is your mental health. This is a mental illness. This is a developmental disorder. Whatever you want to call it, it's not you. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility. So let's go over those signs today, and I'll tell you what maybe you should look for in your kid or your own self. Before I get into it, leave me a comment. Let me know if you have a diagnosis. Do you have any co-occurring disorders? Do you have any shame over them? Because dang, do I feel shame over this shit. But hopefully I will be making more videos. I make videos whenever I want right now, which is not a lot. And hopefully I'll be back and seeing you guys soon. Pandemic isolation, it's been hard for me, and we'll get into that in this video, but I'm doing okay. I don't want you guys to worry. Mindfulness has been the thing to get me through this time, because this shit's hard for me, and I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm not afraid to say that I'm struggling, because I am. I also know that my struggling is not anything like my struggling was 10 years ago, and that feels good. You know what? Disclaimer here. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a mental health professional. I'm not a counselor. I'm not licensed or anything. Like, this is just my personal experience. Please don't take anything I say as medical advice, and always seek help from a doctor. So here are the signs that I missed, that I feel like I should have seen, but I had no idea that some of these were even related to ADHD. Maybe you don't either. Inhibition control. This is my inability to stop being impulsive and stop interrupting people. I don't know how to stop and pause sometimes. That's actually why I practice mindfulness, because it really helps me not speak before I should. And I honestly didn't even realize that that's how Greg and I communicated until that video got popular. None of my subscribers had said it before. I never even noticed, because that's obviously how I talk to him every day. Like, it's so much a part of me that I didn't even notice it. I hate interrupting people. I hate it so much because I can catch myself as I do it, but I catch it like a moment too late. And I don't even just interrupt other people. Like, I interrupt myself. I will be talking and then interrupt myself and be like, oh wait, hold on. And it's the worst feeling ever because I have to explain to the other person, I'm going to put a pin in this one, and then I'm going to circle back to this conversation and finish this one, and then I'm going to go back over here and we'll pick up here. I feel like such an idiot when I do that. But I do. I just do it all the time. I'll just be talking and all of a sudden another thought will come out of my mouth. And that's just kind of how it goes. On the same note, I forget what I'm saying as I'm saying it. I forget everything. I used to forget my glasses when I would go to school. Like, glasses. You need glasses to see the board. You need glasses to see in front of you. How did I get out of the house without them? You think that's bad? I went to school one day without sneakers on because I used to put my shoes on in the car. And I guess I just didn't grab them, and I got in the car in my socks, and I got to school in my socks. Didn't have sneakers. I have shown up to work with 2 different shoes on. I did that last year. I wish that these are things that I just did in middle school, but nope, I have done these my entire life. I forget doctor's appointments. I have been kicked out of so many practices because I forget these appointments. I schedule these appointments, and I forget them. Like a week later, it blows my mind every time, but it happens. It happens. And it's not that I don't plan them. I do plan them. I put them on my calendar, I put them in my phone, I put alerts. But you see, I do this thing that I just did it actually this week. I had an appointment that was supposed to be on Tuesday, and I wrote it in the calendar for Monday, and that just didn't do me any good. No, did it? No. I genuinely wish that people understood that this is not something I'm doing on purpose. I'm not trying to bail out on purpose. I don't want to miss these appointments, and then I feel like such an asshole when I do it. And I have to explain to them, like, I'm so sorry. And I don't want to be like, I have ADHD and that's why it happened, because it just sucks. And I'm late. I'm late for everything. I can wake up 2 hours earlier and still manage to be late. I don't get it. I'm time blind. That's the best way to explain it. I can't sense the passing of time. Like, I notice when the sun comes up and when the sun goes down, but I do not notice the 12 hours or whatever in between that. And it sounds silly, but I don't. I can't even estimate a minute. Like, I've tried, and Greg and I have worked on it. We have set timers so that I can say, hey, I think that this task is going to take me 5 minutes. And I write it down, and then I do it, and the timer goes off, and I see how far I got, and I compare. And I can do that all that I want, but it just doesn't really stick. And it's hard to tell people that, because how do you tell people that you can't tell time? Like, I can tell time, but I can't sense time. Maybe you guys understand now that the pandemic's happening and it's like everything is just kind of all discombobulated. I am super, super effed up with the time. Like, I don't even know what day it is. I think it's Saturday, but I'm not sure. And I'm pretty sure that I thought it was Sunday because I thought Chick-fil-A was closed. And that schedule thing, I can't maintain a schedule if I tried. I need structure to function, but I cannot create this structure myself. I can follow the rules, but I cannot create the rules. It's just fun. I've been working on that with my life coach because I'm trying to get this under control. I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. I said it right, I think. I said it right. But I don't get it. I just don't know. I'm a night owl, so I want to wake up later, and I do my best work in the evenings after Emerson goes to bed. So then I stay up late, and then I wake up early because Emerson's up early in the morning, and then I don't sleep much during the day, and I just have lived this pattern for so long. I have been doing this since high school. I'm getting a little old now. I don't really like it. So I have been trying really hard to build a routine. I've been using a lot of really great apps that I'm going to do a video about, I think, maybe, possibly. I have one that helps me estimate the time and the priority level, and it helps me it sends me email reminders and text notifications. And then I have this really cool one that rescue time. It checks what I'm using across all my devices, so I know where I'm spending my time. I think the hardest part for me has always been not having that data, but now I'm working on it, so that's cool, I guess. It still sucks to say I suck at time and I'm always late and I'm sorry. Don't take it personally, because it's not about you. It's definitely about me. It's definitely just my ADHD. And I wish people understood that this isn't something that just children have. Like, this is a genuine problem that I have. This interferes with my life so much. I wouldn't take this medication if I didn't have to. I don't like it. I don't like the way that it makes my mouth dry. I don't like the way that it makes my mouth taste. I don't like the way that it messes with my diet. I don't like the way that it makes me crave cigarettes. I don't like any of that. And I don't think that it's okay for people to tell me that my recovery is not valid because of it. This is a little off topic. I wasn't planning to put this in the middle of the video, but I get really butthurt when people tell me that my recovery is not valid. And I can fully admit that that is something that I still hold shame over. I have used this unconventional recovery approach. I don't really care about abstinence, but I don't care about using either. Like, I am very much about this individualistic approach, and I just think that it's so subjective, and I don't think we should be judgmental to the people that do it a little bit differently, because if it works for them, it works for them. That's just kind of how I see life sometimes. I am going to go back to my schedule thing because I got off topic. I interrupted myself with a thought there. Yeah, you see how that works? I suck at prioritizing tasks. I don't know how to use a typical to-do list. My to-do list is like 20 pages, and it's always full. I have different methods now that I use that kind of like funnel in my distractions, because I'm really bad at jumping between tasks. So if I'm doing a project, or I'm working on something, and a distraction or an interruption pops up, it screws me up so badly, and I lose so much time. Like, I lose a lot of time every day just changing tasks. I'm not good at transitions. I'm not good at change. This whole pandemic thing has been really difficult for me. I don't have a routine right now, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm drowning. And then I have 2 other boys in my house who also have this, possibly. I mean, I don't know about Emerson, but he has sensory processing disorder, and it's been tough. That's why I'm not posting. I'm not posting because I'm not doing, well, I don't want to say I'm not doing that great. I'm okay. I'm alive. I'm surviving again. I wish I was doing more, but that's for later in life. I just want to get through this so badly. I have to remind myself that I'm grateful. There's so much I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to be here to have to get through it. That's the important part. Everything that I've mentioned so far falls under the umbrella of executive dysfunction, and that is related to your executive functions. So a neurotypical person has executive functions, which are cognitive abilities that you develop throughout life that help you manage and organize your life. And they make life easier. You don't just know these from birth. You have to learn them, and they're life skills, essentially. It's like planning and organizing and working memory, and I can't think of them right now. I always forget every time I try and name them, but I just suck at them. And these are the most trivial, simple, like easy things I should get, but I don't. I once heard this quote about ADHD that it's not that I don't know what to do, because I do. I'm very intelligent. I know a lot, and I'm proud of how much I know. I just don't know when to do it, when to execute it. Like, that, the whole when part is what gets me. That's what fucks me up, and it does. I don't know when to do it, and I need more accountability and more structure. But we're living in a time where there's no structure and no planning, and it sucks. It sucks, and I'm a hot mess. That's just kind of how it goes, I guess. Speaking of mess, you should not look at my house outside of this frame, and no, I'm not going to turn it around. I got clutter everywhere, and it's just kind of dirty, and it is what it is. The problem with ADHD is that I don't see it until I think about someone coming into my space. And it's not like unlivable, it's just not clean. You know, I don't think about this stuff. I struggle to just keep the sink empty for clean dishes. I try and make sure that we eat 3 meals, and I'm doing laundry. Like, that feels like a win to me. That's not just because of the pandemic. That's just kind of how I am. Another sign that I wish I would have known was related to ADHD is emotional dysregulation. That is a doozy. It's emotional instability, and it really means that I can get more emotional faster and to a higher intensity for a longer duration of time. And I have a hard time leveling back out. My default reaction for almost anything that is an overwhelming feeling, like a negative emotion or even a happy emotion, is crying. And I can't stop crying when I start. And then it makes me more angry, and then I cry even more, and it just keeps going. And that's just the cycle I'm in. I can't self-soothe. I don't know how to calm myself down. I get in these like cycles of rumination and just going crazy and my brain won't stop. When I take medication, I say that it's like it turns that third wheel off in my head, the one that's just spinning. It's a tape of like all my thoughts just racing on repeat. And when I take the medication, it stops. It's great. It doesn't really help me focus on things. I have to be diligent about what I focus on. It's not like this miracle medication that just makes my life better. I wish it did. I appreciate the fact that it lets me pause. It lets me be more mindful, more present. Lets me be less impulsive. That's really the thing that medication does. It lets you be less impulsive. And that's a big deal because so many of our choices that are like really dangerous and detrimental are made impulsively. By being able to stop and take a pause, I can assess my feelings. I can think about which feelings I want to identify with, what feelings I want to let go. And that has been a game changer. Then there is rejection sensitivity dysphoria. This is like rejection sensitivity, but it's just that you're not very comfortable with being rejected, the idea of being rejected. And I perceive rejection, I guess, in places that I'm not being rejected. And I overreact. Like my response does not fit the rejection that I saw. So, and it'll be weird things. I will think that, someone doesn't like me because they gave me a funny look. Or I wonder if people think I'm annoying because I know that I talk really fast in these videos. I see those comments about me interrupting and I'm like, everybody thinks I'm so annoying. And I go very extreme, very fast, and very black and white. And it's funny because that's not how I see everybody else. I'm able to assess the world and see the many shades of gray in your world, but in my world, it's black and white. And it's something that I'm probably always going to have to work on. I'm always going to have to be mindful of this, and that's okay. I've learned so many skills through recovery and so many skills through my life coach and so many skills through my therapist that I really feel like I'll be okay. It's just that sometimes it's going to get hard, and last year got hard. The final sign of ADHD that I didn't realize was ADHD wasn't hyperactivity, it was inattentiveness. I can't focus on anything. I get distracted easily, and distractions will set me back a whole 30 minutes just trying to change back to the task I was doing, and I can't sustain attention for very long. I try. That's why I'm using that Rescue Time app. It's actually like a Google Chrome extension and an application on your computer and an app on your phone. I do want to mention one more thing. Some of you might have heard these signs that I just said and thought, hey, that sounds a lot like BPD. Borderline personality disorder, and you'd be correct. BPD and ADHD overlap in many ways. I was actually evaluated at one point because I thought that's what I had. I am missing some of the key features. At least this is what I was told by my psychiatrist. This is not my therapist that I'm seeing now. This is someone separate. I don't have the unstable relationships where it's the on again, off again, hot, cold, extreme. My relationships might not have always been ideal. There was addiction and cheating, but it was never a breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together. And my friendships have always been constant. My relationships with my family have been constant. I was missing the fear of abandonment, which is similar to the rejection sensitivity dysphoria because you are assuming things that aren't really happening. It's not proportionate to what is actually happening, your reaction. And it's not so much that I'm afraid of being abandoned. I don't go into relationships like that. I just treat every social interaction as if I'm stupid. That's the best way to explain it. And I don't like that. I hold a lot of shame and guilt over that. So then I ruminate over whatever I said. Like, oh, I said have a nice, or I said you too to the waiter when he said enjoy your meal. Like, I do stupid shit like that, and then I will dwell on that forever. I still have these memories from like middle school of saying embarrassing things in front of the popular girls, and that shit still hurts just as bad as it did in middle school, and I have tried to forget this. I've practiced mindfulness, I've meditated on it, and it's just what it is. Like, my brain circles. It circles thoughts like crazy, and I tried to hide it for a very long time because I felt like people wouldn't understand. And I've been more open to being myself, and I'm proud of it. I feel more comfortable being me. I feel like I've actually found a place where I'm happy. I feel like it shows. I wanted to share this with you because it's something I think about almost every day. I've tried to make so many YouTube videos and I stop because I don't want to hide who I am. I don't want to hide my idiosyncrasies and my quirks and my whatever. I want to just be myself. And I have to be okay with letting people think of me as they want. And I have to accept the fact that they don't know that they're commenting on my mental health. They don't know that they're commenting on something that really, really hurts me. Like, I'm ashamed of it. And it's not their problem. This is my problem. This shame is mine. And I have to own it. And I want to get through it. So I wanted to share it publicly, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I've been acknowledging it. You know, the whole thing I say, what you resist persists. Well, I've been resisting this. I've been trying to pretend like this isn't happening again. When I first got diagnosed, I didn't identify with it. I was like, no, that's wrong. I took the medication, it didn't work, and I said, no, I'm good. So then I went to college, and I tried medication again, and I hated it again, and I ended up in the drug scene. So I've learned that I have to treat my mental health, and this is a part of me. I can't pretend like it's not. But I'm distracted again, so let's get back to the rest of the BPD symptoms that I didn't have. There was a chronic feeling of emptiness. I don't feel empty. I did feel depressed, and when I didn't treat my ADHD, I might have said I was empty. I was just looking for someone or something, and I didn't realize that I always had it within myself. That's the secret. I just had to treat my mental health to be able to see that inside of me. I'm so happy that I did. A lot of the signs that I had that looked like BPD, I was able to mitigate by treating my ADHD. One sign in particular was explosive anger. I used to freak the F out over anything and everything. My mom called me her tornado, and I was proud of that. Like, I just had a temper. I was sassy. And I'm not anymore. I'm a lot more chill. I don't fight. I can't even think of the last time I got angry. I can't. Well, that's not true. I got mad around Thanksgiving or like right before it because of a family thing. But families are tricky. Families are tricky. I have an announcement. I am actually going to be rolling out with that mindfulness program. It's going to be a free thing that I offer for my subscribers. And I guess I'm not sure if I'm going to host it on my website or if I'm going to do it in the women's Facebook group. But I wanted to offer it on my Patreon. I hope that you guys like this video. I hope to see you guys again soon. I love you guys. Be weird, be kind. Bye.